Hi everybody, we're just a few days away now from the release of the Band on the Run 50th anniversary Half Speed remaster, the continuation of the campaign that's brought us Paul's four first post-Beatles albums so far. It's been a great series, but this is different. This has now got bonus content. Band on the Run's going to contain this album called Band on the Run Underdubbed. We've heard Paul talk a little bit about what underdubbed means. Basically it means sort of before overdubs. But I just wanted to talk a bit more about what this version of the album is that we're going to be getting along with the Half Speed remaster of the Band on the Run album. So first of all, if you're still not quite sure what Half Speed mastering is, I'm going to put a link to a video at the end of this that I did a while back that explains what a Half Speed remaster is. Feel free to go and have a look at that. But in this video I'm going to concentrate on the underdubbed. What is it and what isn't it? So here's what it is. Band on the Run, recorded in Lagos, Nigeria in 1973. And Paul, Linda and Denny went to Lagos. They went on the 9th of August, came back on the 22nd of September. And in that period, they recorded the basic tracks for most of the album, not all. Some of the songs weren't even recorded in Nigeria at all. So when they came back on the 22nd of September, they had a couple of weeks off and back into Air Studios in London from October the 2nd to October the 5th. The first thing that Paul did was arrange for the final mix of Hell on Wheels, based purely on what had been recorded in Nigeria. That it wasn't added to at all in London, and that was released as a single. Paul never intended it to be on the album, and as a result, because that mix was done then, it doesn't appear on this underdubbed album for reasons that we'll find out as we go along this story. So Hell on Wheels, done and dusted, but also in this October 2nd to October 5th session, they did the first recordings of Jet, Bluebird and 1985, which at the time was called The Piano Thing. Now those three songs hadn't been recorded in Nigeria at all. So they started working on those three songs during that period. So is that the version of the album that we get for Band on the Run Underdubbed? No, it isn't. Not quite. Not yet. There was some more sessions from October the 8th to October the 12th, again at Air Studios in London. They did a remake of Jet, a complete brand new remake, which went on to become what we would get on the album. And there was overdubs done for various songs. No Words, Bluebird, Piano Thing, still was the name for 1985 at the time, Let Me Roll It, and Drink to Me, which was the original working title of Picasso's Last Words. Drink to Me in brackets. So they did all these overdubs then, between October 8th and October 12th. Is that the version that we get on the underdubbed album? Yes, it is. At that point there, various overdubs had already been done, so it's not fully underdubbed, to use Paul's phrase. But there hadn't been any orchestration. There hadn't even been some lead vocals on some of the songs at the time. So those sessions went until 12th of October. On the 14th of October, Jeff Emerick, engineer, did a mix of the album, like a kind of a mix so far of where we're at. Paul needed that mix because the day before, on the 13th, he'd asked producer Tony Visconti if he could do the orchestration for the album, if he could score it all and arrange the sessions, which were just going to be a few days later. Tony took that job on, but he needed something to work with, hence the Jeff Emerick mixes on the 14th of October to give Tony Visconti an idea of this is what you're working with, this is what you're going to orchestrate. So that 14th of October mix by Jeff Emerick is what we will get on the underdubbed album. So the reason why Hell on Wheels isn't on the underdubbed version is because Paul was asking Jeff Emerick to create a mix for orchestrating the album. Hell on Wheels was never going to be on the album as far as Paul was concerned, so there was no reason for it to appear in this 14th of October mix. So anything that didn't exist at that point on the 14th of October isn't going to be on there. So this underdubbed album isn't something that's just been created now for the purposes of releasing something for the 50th anniversary. It's something that always existed right back to 1973. We've just not heard it in that state before. We've heard the Band on the Run title track. That's been released on YouTube streaming. You can hear that now if you haven't done already. And you will notice that it's not the final lead vocal. Paul didn't record his lead vocal until later on in the month, as I'm going to come to shortly. It's of course got none of the orchestration, because this is a mix that was done on the 14th of October. The orchestration wasn't done until, the orchestra wasn't recorded until the 17th of October. So, everything that I'm going to discuss now from now on, you won't hear on the Underdubbed album, even though it's on the final version. So there was final sessions for the album from the 15th to the 19th of October, again at Air Studios. On the 17th, all the orchestration was done. Anything that you hear that's orchestra based was added on that date. You won't hear it on the Underdubbed. And also any brass. So, for example, the brass that's very prominently in Jet, the saxophone solo that Howie Casey added to Bluebird, that was done on the 17th of October as well. So Bluebird, as you hear it, isn't going to have any sax solo on it. There's not going to be any sax on the Jet version that you hear either. Those sessions went on until the 19th of October. Paul added lead vocal. Denny and Linda added harmonies to Band on the Run, to the title song, and Paul did an additional keyboard track as well. So there's various things there: lead vocals, harmonies, orchestration, any brass you are not going to hear on the Underdubbed version. And that's what it is that we are getting in a few days from now. As I sit here at the end of this week, we are getting that. If you see this video in the future, you may already have the album or be wondering whether or not to buy the album. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a genuine thing, as I say, that existed just over 50 years ago. It's not something that's been just sort of put together now as an excuse to release something. It existed then. It was a Jeff Emerick mix, and I like the fact that we're getting now we've had for Wildlife and Red Rose Speedway, we got early mixes in the archive collections. We're getting this early mix of Band on the Run now. We're starting to see a lot more about how the songs evolved, or how they were envisioned as mixes early on in the process, which I think is really interesting. So yeah, really looking forward to the Underdubbed. I'm going to be doing a live stream this Sunday, 8 PM UK time, live stream, Band on the Run related. Hope you can join me for a lot of fun and discussion about the Band on the Run album and what we've specifically had released this week as well. I'm going to be bringing you reviews, unboxings, all that kind of thing, because I'm getting the CD version, the 2LP version and the single disc version. So I'll be able to show you all of that. I hope you will join me for that. And yeah, brilliant. Really looking forward to this. I will see you again very soon. Bye.